Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Faith Over Fears podcast. As always, guys, thank you so much for listening in, and God bless to all of you who are here with me right now. Just kind of kick it off with a short story. I've actually started doing a lot of Tai Chi, which is the performance of technique with martial arts, and it's almost like a relaxing, slow yoga form of martial arts, and I really dig it. For those of you who are kind of stressed out and maybe a little, have a little bit of some anxiety with things that are going on, I would recommend that you go and, just look up a few Tai Chi videos and kind of learn the techniques, because man, it's so soothing. It's almost like meditation in a way. And so I, again, highly recommend you do it if you're having stress or anxiety about the current situations that are happening today, because man, it really helps your mood, but also gets you really relaxed and your body kind of very open and stretched out. So now, one thing I've noticed a lot, especially today, is we have lots of stereotypes and stuff. Again, in the last video I was talking about, I recently got to hang out with an old friend of mine, and she's awesome. We're doing great. We got to hang out, and to be honest, I am kind of upset with the way that we treat people in today's society. And it's sad because so many people don't deserve to be treated the way they do, because I got to know my old friend a while ago. I got to know her a lot more recently, and just knowing her background and what she's gone through, it just really changes my outlook on her as well as other people. But, for her, I respect her so much more because she and I had very deep conversations, and we were very comfortable with sharing what we had to share. And nowadays I feel like a lot of people are very fake, and sometimes it may not be really intentional of them to be fake, but for me personally, I'll just share this. I recently decided to step away from going to church, and and it's not like I didn't like anyone, or it was just mostly because of I feel like church has become kind of a less real place than it should be, honestly. Because when we go to church, we need to be recognizing that we are broken as a person, whether that be struggling with an addiction or just feeling down in the dumps. We need to recognize that and be able to express that to people, because if we don't express that, then no one can really help us, and like many churches, they're very huge and very grown all around the world, and they always have that one preacher who preaches to every single church. And although I think that's very beneficial for a church to have kind of one main pastor, I think it's very hard to connect more with a church, mostly because, let's say, for me, if I connect with that specific pastor, and let's say he and I both had the same addiction, and he talked about it, and unfortunately I go to a different state than he does, but I still go to the same quote-unquote church. It's very hard for me to kind of relate with him or even talk to him due to the fact of, different places and where people are. So yeah, that's kind of what frustrates me, as well as just kind of confuses me with okay, church is here to help us and to help us grow with God, and yet I feel like people in the church don't really have the same perspective or the same pay scale that a lot of people like me do. Um, and I feel it's just very necessary for people to be very open to one another, because without our openness, no one truly knows what happens. Um, and I think it was the third episode of the podcast. I kind of explained my like a mini life story of mine, and it helps me to get that off my chest, because I feel like being vulnerable for someone and kind of letting your guard down and sharing a piece of you that is very like personable. I think that's very important, because a lot of people either, one, don't know how to let their guard down and be vulnerable with you, whether that be just sharing something personal that happened, or even just kind of being real with someone, like today's saying that I feel like we all kind of talk about but not really like go too far into is, "Hey, how are you today?" I think everyone, or not, I shouldn't say everyone, but a lot of people today will kind of go past that, "Hey, how are you?" and just be like, "Oh, I have to say fine or good or okay." And even then, like, I notice that some people say fine, but in reality they are not doing great, but they still feel like they still feel obligated to say fine to make sure that other people are okay, and they're not, dumping all of their sad times on someone. But honestly, if you have those true friends who are asking you how you are doing, I think it's more than okay to let them know, "Yeah, I'm doing kind of bummy right now. Like, I'm not having a good time, and I'm struggling with a lot of things," and with your true friends out there, I feel like they would understand and maybe even be able to help you. So yeah, as a society, I don't really know how, like, like my family in general has survived, because we lost so basically my family and I were not very popular, I guess you should say, and we don't really have many friends, like, at all. And unfortunately, the friends that we do have aren't really the truest of friends, because it'll be very one-sided with our relationship. For instance, we will ask people to come over and hang out all the time, and we'll never get kind of the same response for their end of the relationship. Like, no one will ever ask us to come over and hang out, which, you know, again, we shouldn't be expecting it, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to just be almost like a servant to people, like giving them attention and help when they need it, but then never really getting anything back from it. It's just, it's not how anyone should be living their life from day to day. And if you have kind of that same situation that you're going through, there's always you can always go to the Faith Over Fear Media website, and it should be in the link in the description of most of these videos. You just go to faithoverfearmedia.com, I believe it is, and if you have a question or a topic, as always, you can give me those, or even if you just need a friend, you can reach out on my on the website and kind of give me a glimpse of your life. And if you are willing to be that open with me and the other people on this channel, feel free to. Again, I feel like this should be a place where people can be open and not feel judged. So, that's kind of my personal opinion with this whole podcast. That's, what I've started to learn is that this podcast should be more for like openness with, people that follow this Faith Over Fear Media account, or people who just kind of need someone to talk to or need someone to just open up to. So for those who have something meaningful or deep that they think they want to share, feel free always to share what you want to share. Now to sort of wrap it up, I'm going to say that the verse of the day, the verse of the day is Romans 8:28. My father told me this when I was kind of in trouble for sneaking out, and woohoo, lots of people do it. Not saying it should be done, but I'm not perfect, so don't always look to me as some great perfect guy. But we were talking, and he discussed with me Romans 8:28, and it really opened my eyes to the importance of just life in general and how great God is for us. So if you get a chance to read that, I would really encourage that you do, because it's very meaningful and very impactful. And for someone out there who reads it and gets touched by it, I thank you, and I really appreciate the time that you put into getting this message. So as always, guys, thank you, and God bless for listening in and staying up to date with either the podcast or the Faith Over Fears news portion, again, which is posted on Mondays and Fridays due to our little bit of technical difficulties with not having any editors yet. So again, guys, God bless. Thank you for being here, and see ya.